Well, thanks for staying with us, everyone. If you tuned in yesterday, we led with a story about fuel prices and the anticipation that they were going to go down in the first pricing window. Well, some oil marketing companies have started reducing prices of petroleum products in line with the expected adjustments at the pumps. Here's George Jaffe with more.
Petrol at 13 Ghana cedis, 65 pesos, from its old price of 13 Ghana cedis, 93 pesos. This represents 28 pesos drop in value, while in percentage terms, it has gone down by more than 2%. Diesel has also gone down by more than 3% and is selling at 14 Ghana cedis, 2 pesos. This means that consumers who will be turning to Star Oil will be paying 46 pesos less. Prices should have been adjusted from yesterday. However, checks by Joy Business showed that only a few have reviewed their prices as of this afternoon. Many will be watching to see the expected margin of reduction by the other major oil marketing firms and how that would influence the more than 100 oil marketing companies out there.
All right, we continue to watch how long this lasts, taking into consideration what is happening in the Middle East, which has the potential of affecting crude oil prices globally. Now, accounting and auditing firm PricewaterhouseCoopers has justified warnings about the fate of Ghana's economy after the completion of the IMF program. The firm, in its verdict on the mid-year budget review, revealed that current stability is linked to the fund program and there could be some setbacks after its completion. Vish Eshiagwo is senior country partner at PwC Ghana. He spoke on PM Express Business Edition.
To keep us updated, keep us informed on a regular basis, transparently, as to where we are. And that helps to build confidence so that we can confidently, as business people, say that if we look at the medium term or we look at the long term, beyond, let's say, 2026, things look okay. And the reason I pick on 2026 is because we know that we have some debt forgiveness and some suspension of debt servicing till 2026. But what happens after 2026? Unless we have put in place those reforms that will enable us to be in a position to honor our obligations post 2026, there's a risk that we may run into some difficulty. And I'm not saying that that's the case. All I'm saying is that additional information would be useful and would be helpful for people to make up their own minds as to what the outlook is.
Mr. Shagbo, you're not the only person who's raised the concern about what happens after 2026 in terms of the debt repayment issues and all the rest. And do you also think that all these things are fueling the concern that what happens when the big brother is gone? What happens if my father is gone? I mean, or I lose my grandfather who has been there to check me and I'm behaving as a good boy now. When my grandfather is no more there, would the George Jaffe or the Kwabena Mensah be that good boy? And it's a genuine concern out there.
So it's a genuine concern. And look, the concern is not necessarily just about the 2026 and the linkage to debt repayment. The concern is that the fundamental things we need to do, the financial, public financial management reforms, the revenue mobilization agenda, the debt management issues, the tax reforms, the reform of the structure of some of those taxes. See, if we get those things right, it puts us in a better position and enhances our chances of being able to continue on a sustainable path.
Next, the adoption of genetically modified foods in Ghana is still a topic of intense discussion among the country's agric and scientific communities. The country released its first GM product for commercialization, a cowpea variety resistant to the pod-boring insect Maruca vitra. In this week's episode of Food Chain, Emmanuel Bright Kweku speaks with the lead scientists of the project and some stakeholders who are pushing back on what they describe as hasty adoption.
Few days ago, the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research released Ghana's first genetically modified product, a cowpea variety for commercialization. Known as the pod borer resistant cowpea, this particular crop is said to resist the effect of a pest known as the Maruca vitra. While the adoption of genetically modified products in Ghana's agricultural space has been a contentious subject, particularly on the safety of these products. But really, does the country need GMOs? I've been interacting with the principal investigator of this cowpea project, Dr. Jerry Mbonyin, and also Yusuf Suleimana, who is the Director of Research for the Center for Climate Change and Food Security. He is actually not in support of introducing GMOs in our agricultural space now.
Thanks to modern biotechnology, where you can use genetic engineering to develop varieties that are resistant to a particular crop. And all what we have done is that if you look at farmers who grow their crops organically, there is an insecticide that they spray in organic farming known as the BT insecticide. So we basically used the gene from that BT to actually insert it into the cowpea so that the cowpea is able to protect itself.
But this scientific discovery has met fierce opposition from some farmer groups, including the Peasant Farmers Association and other members of the scientific community. Concerns over the safety of the cowpea on both the environment and human have come up as the product is reported to produce a protein known as Cry1AB that resists the effect of the bean pod borer.
The National Biosafety Authority will not give you approval if it is toxic to humans and if it is toxic to any organism in the environment. You have to check the effect, the non-target effect. So not just on soil organisms, but even on pollinators and on natural enemies such as predators. And the results were very, very categorical and clear that cry proteins are not toxic to weather predators such as ladybird beetles or parasitoids. Only thing it does is to control the legume pod borer, that is the Maruca. Apart from that insect, it has no harmful effect on any other organism.
Director of Research at the Center for Climate Change and Food Security in Ghana, Suleimana Yusuf, disagrees.
I've assessed their data. There is no data on the effects of the cowpea on soil microbiome. There's no data. Why are they lying? If I may put it, excuse my language. I've assessed the data they put to the NBA. If they have data on the effect of the crops on soil microbiome, they should make it available to me and to the Center for Climate Change and Food Security, and let us assess it to see if indeed what they're saying is the truth. Right? Because one of the reasons why GMs are being pushed away from some of these advanced countries, for example, as I mentioned in Europe, is because of the fear, and some of it have been verified scientifically, the fear that these organisms have the potential to dilute other organisms, and in the course of time, you are likely to lose your native species, which are adapted to the vagaries of the climate, climatic conditions where you live.
While this debate continues, the Ghanaian farmer is anxious for a better farming practice or technology that can boost productivity, ensure the country's food security, while he also rakes in some profit from his source of livelihood. My name is Emmanuel Bright-Quickly.
All right, so catch the full conversation on the Joy News channel that is tomorrow, Saturday at 6 p.m. A repeat on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Some news still from the agri sector. The Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has formalized its partnership with private farming enterprises to facilitate the projection of indigenous agri technologies for farmers' adoption under its Innovative Research and Extension Advisory Coordination Hub, iReach. The collaboration will showcase agri technologies in the West African sub-region to increase crop value chain adoption and enhance food security. There's more in this report.
Ghana's agricultural sector, the economy, is fraught with numerous challenges spanning accessibility and financial assistance. These challenges impact the productivity of the local sector to keep up with the market demand. To bridge the gap between technology development and utilization, the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research is collaborating with private farming enterprises for easy access and affordability. Dubbed the CSIR-CRI iReach Consortium, the agreement is to ensure enhanced food security, job creation, youth development, and improved livelihoods. Dr. Paul Bosu is the Director General of the CSIR.
What we want to do is that we want to assist them with the technologies that CSIR we have developed over the years, so that if we have high yielding varieties, if we have climate resistant varieties, pest resistant varieties, they will be able to adopt these. And obviously, if you have a superior variety, then it means that all things being equal, you're going to have higher yield and higher income, and of course it's also going to mean that we have more food on the market.
The project, which started in 2022, affords farmers, agri-scientists and interested entities the opportunity to adopt technologies relevant to their fields of crop and food production. Dr. Caroline Makamto-Sogbi is the technical manager at Koraf iReach.
I think that one of the main challenges in Western Central Africa is that most of our farmers are still using old technology that are not really well performing. Why actually at the level of research institution, there's a lot of technology that have been developed by the research. This consortium is actually paving the way so that in the future, it will be easy for technology developed at the level of research to get to the farmers.
Project coordinator Professor Emmanuel Otu explains the need to protect indigenous food systems for food security.
Prices has hiked, and then there is disruption in the supply of the food. Can we survive with our families for a week, a month, a year? That means that we must pay much more attention to our food systems than we've been doing.
The consortium comprises 8 organizations, with the CSIR Crops Research Institute as the lead institution and 7 large-scale farm enterprises within Ashanti, Bono and Bono East regions. Some partners shared the potential gains from participating in the project.
Brena way sono I timi ko banko jilo ni na sofo no ye be jai
what de be boy be bre say ye kan ye ho bomu dia na che sa ho den no so aye kese ba ko fo say sane ye kan wo kopɛ bosen a unya bi nanso ya kan ye ho bomu ye group no de o ma hu say ye hwehwe ba bia e benya ye nkankan say crop research e ho bon mu no de o ma hu say sources no ye good.
Our next story takes us to the Upper West region, where smoke producers and their fabric weavers are lamenting the increasing cost of raw materials in producing the traditional wear. Inflationary pressures and high exchange rates are the primary attributable causes of the soaring cost of the items. The ballooning costs are consequently impacting the sale of smoke, which has seen at least 20% upward adjustment in price. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was in the regional capital, Wa, and now reports.
A busy morning at Camford in News Weaving Shop at the Upper West Regional Capital, Wa. These young ladies are fixated on getting the long stretch of threads wound to a stone loomed into a full piece of cloth. The fabrics will be used for what is popularly known as smocks.
There is Dabonye and Wale Dabonye costing either 400 or 450 cedis.
4.5, and I see 400.
The Ghanaian smocks, locally called fugu or bakatari, are common traditional wares notable among natives of Ghana's regions of the north. They are made from hand-loomed strips comprising a unique blend of colors and undyed cotton yarns. But the cost of materials used in making these beautiful fabrics are ballooning. Laraba, is almost a year and a half in the weaving industry. She explains the increasing cost of materials is impacting her sales.
Sometimes that one, if the thread is a more costly and you didn't calculate well and you sell it, you will not get anything. Unless you also calculate well before you can get something from it. At first, the price is always enough. But the cost was just a least price. But for now, the price is not enough, but still, the price is too high for us.
The hand-loomed yarns are intricately sewn together by hand to create a distinctive plaid pattern that characterizes the smock. Despite the beautifully crafted cloths, the embroidery adorning the neckline creates a distinct look for the attire.
For the females, you can get some of the smock at 180 or 250 cedis and 350 cedis. Those of high quality are usually expensive. Because we invest enough money buying the raw materials, the prices keep shooting up. It is not our fault the prices keep rising.
Smock trading is one of the major trades in the region, with several weaving materials dotted across various market centers and homes. But the increasing cost is impacting adversely on the once vibrant market.
Things are expensive now. Let's say if I want to buy one myself, because it's expensive, I wouldn't buy it and later find it difficult to get something to feed myself. The market is bad now. Sometimes only 2 people bring their clothes here for me to sew.
Despite the prevailing economic quagmire, these vendors are unperturbed as they continuously craft and preserve their rich cultural heritage. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Brant-Kweku.
Inflation affecting just about everything, even the price of smoke. You're watching The Marketplace. Up next, show business. Well, welcome to the segment where we delve into the vibrant and ever-evolving entertainment industry here in Ghana. Today, we are exploring the role of bars in modern entertainment in Ghana. It has been a crucial fabric in the nightlife ecosystem for a long time. Culture journalist Kenneth Wachidako has been monitoring. Oh, yes, he has. And he joins me in the studio to help us understand its contribution to the economy as a whole. I'm not asking you where you're going tonight, but let's jump right into it. How bars and nightlife venues contribute to the improvement of the economy?
So there, even if you ask me where I was going tonight, I may not be able to tell you.
You don't want me to say, because I know where you usually don't say that anywhere. All right.
All right, Darryl. So the bars basically in the country have, provided a very, important avenue when it comes to the economy. Just that a lot of people haven't paid so much attention to it. For instance, if there is a bar that's open in a certain community, you realize that there are so many employment avenues that it creates, from the bartenders themselves to the waiting staff. There's also security usually. There's also food being cooked as well. So caterers are also being employed in some of these institutions. And so even going beyond that, those individual employment that it creates go into basically forming the private sector's own way of, offsetting the unemployment rate that's in the country, as well as also providing an avenue for creatives who are in that space to also get their crafts, displayed to the general public. So musicians, among other people, are also, finding their way into those spaces and ensuring that there's something going on in terms of revenue among these creative spaces.
Right. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the bars took a hit, the pubs took a hit. I mean, there was a hit on the night economy, and they are only just beginning to recover. So then how do you incorporate modern entertainment to attract the audiences, the market?
Yeah, so we realized that when COVID hit, there were other alternatives that were being employed, especially by industries that were able to utilize the virtual reality, the virtual space, other technological advancement that ensure that those trades continue to, continue to happen, even though there was, a ban on movement amongst all those restrictions.
Yeah.
These days, because since the ban was lifted, these hospitality industries are ensuring that they are incorporating more and more other avenues of an entertainment space into the nightlife. So when you visit a bar these days, you realize that there is a lot of musical activity going on. Some of the bars are beginning to invite sort of like artists who would usually be performing at concerts, among others. They are now investing in bringing those artists in their spaces to create very different types of experiences. And these have been seen as much as exhibitions, gallery exhibitions, typical art pieces that you'd find in your regular galleries across the country. You begin to find them in bars, amongst others. And so it's beginning to incorporate other elements of the entertainment industry, which, provide whichever client or their customer with a very 360 experience, even though they went in just to have a drink or basically to maybe have a dish or something like that.
Yeah, I know this part of our world is difficult to come by data, but how is this also boosting tourism? I mean, these venues.
So these venues, because of how much people are investing in also the aesthetics of it, not just visiting to have a drink or two or the food, people are also now investing in creating a very, nice visual experience as well. And also positioning some of these bars at areas that, maybe provide a very panoramic view of the city, for instance, or, they sort of invest in a kind of real estate that are attractive to other people. And these sort of things that are eye-catching find their way into journals, they find their way into other spaces. And we are in the digital space these days. So online, you'd find on social media, you'd find on other, internet magazines, you find that they are highlighting some of these hotspots across the country. And also tourists who are trying to visit the country or looking for somewhere nice to visit, when they see some of these pictures online or they see the videos or some of these exclusive venues that are looking very attractive, they tend to visit the country, maybe just to find that particular space, but in turn, they begin to explore other avenues in the capital or in whichever city that whichever bar is situated. So in terms of tourism, it is boosting that sector very well.
All right, so aside from the COVID-19 pandemic, which was a major challenge for owners of bars, pubs, etc., what are the challenges they are faced with currently and how do they overcome them?
So the fact that they are beginning to incorporate all of these mechanisms into creating a very tailored experience for clients means that there has to be a lot of investment, and that is where money comes in. The problem these days is how to ensure sustainability in that space, because if you're inviting other people aside your regular clients who are coming in, if you're inviting other people, including visual artists, painters, musicians, and other people into that same space, it means that you have to put in more money, and that is where the problem is, sustainability. Even though they are doing very well in creating these varied experiences, creating, that fiscal space to be able to make sure that they're able to continue doing that is a problem. So even though they can do that once, the next time they may not be able to do because the financing becomes a problem. And so maintaining some of these things, including even their lighting systems, keeping up with maybe the community that they're in, because there are also challenges with regards to neighbors who may complain that there is some noise coming from this particular avenue, which for each reason they might want them to close down. And so juggling that, their financial aspect with the societal or the communal piece that might have existed before they moved in to ply their trade, that's also another issue. And so basically it's something that industry players are paying a lot of attention to. There's also, I think there's a conference that's coming up next week, I think August 9, there's the Accra Bar Show that is also seeking to bring industry players around to sit around the table and discuss some of these issues to ensure that the hospitality industry basically sees a facelift going forward. Also, December is coming, so,
Just a few months away, right?
Exactly.
John Mahama has been talking about the 24-hour economy, and people always say we already have a 24-hour economy in that
exactly.
part of our economy. So, yeah, thank you so much. Hope you're going to be good. You're not going anywhere tonight, church boy.
I'm home tonight.
Kenneth Aotidako, thank you so much for this segment. Now that's the marketplace. There's more news on our website, myjournalline.com/business. You can read more on that interview with Vish Ishiaboy, who is the boss of PwC Ghana. He says businesses are thinking of how much they can rely on economic stability. Also, risks around government bonds will linger, signaling new realities for bondholders. Catch up on our website, myjournalline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Enjoy your weekend.